Time to pay your dues. As the Avis Rent-A-Car people present the Other Dan Ingram Show, a program of some of the more earthy goodies that we play for you every Saturday night. My name is Dan Ingram, and we are about to listen to a chap who has played clarinet for a long time. It has become fashionable to say he doesn't play like he used to, but I don't do anything like I used to, so he's allowed. Probably the greatest clarinet player in the world, Mr. Benny Goodman, and a few friends, among which is Andre Previn, who has a wild piano solo in this thing. Let us start it off with Having a Ball. That's nice. He can still show him how it's done. Benny Goodman with Andre Previn and little Barney Kessel sing along and thrown in there. Very tasty. Having a ball. The Other Dan Ingram Show is presented by the Avis people who try harder. And they would like you to think about maybe the car you own, because you probably have one. And the next time that machine of yours will not perform as advertised, think about renting a car from Avis, because their cars do perform as advertised. Like this summer, it was 100 degrees today, and if you were in a car, you were in an oven with wheels. Wouldn't it be nicer to sit in a car with an air conditioning in it, you know? Cool. Keep your salad greens in the side of you there, cool and crisp. How about getting the whole entire family plus the dog into a brand new station wagon? Or maybe letting your hair down when you try a sporty new Plymouth convertible. Maybe a green one to go with your eyes. But whatever car you do rent from Avis, there's something else you get. You get a car that is new and in sharp running order, from tires to headlights, from front end to taillights, and points in between. Avis thinks about all details, so you don't have to worry about anything. That's because Avis is still number 2 in the rent-a-car business. Does not mean they're second. They just happen to be second in size. But they are first in service. They have to try harder to get your business. I would suggest you call Avis Rent-A-Car in New York. Their number is MU7-1262. And you will see how Avis tries harder. Might even get a smile from the Avis lady, who will be very clinical about it, but it will be a smile. Better than having the keys thrown at you. Avis Rent-A-Car in New York, MU7-1262. The first record that Lionel Hampton ever made with Benny Goodman, who we just played before, was a thing called the Vibraphone Blues. We're not going to play that recording. It was made in '36. This was made more recently. And I will not introduce all the people other than Lionel Hampton, because he will introduce them himself. Fierce, Lionel Hampton, and friends. I was just looking at the album cover for the next thing we're going to play here. It's a thing by Anzi Matthews. It's called Blues with a Touch of Elegance. I don't know whether album cover art interests you, but being in the business I'm in, it does interest me, I guess, because I see so many of them. But he is on this cover with a look on his face. He's a good-looking man, Anzi Matthews is. He looks on this cover like he is an Arab sheikh and has just found you in his harem. Is that not a stare? I am showing this to the chaps in the control room. And he could put you down with a glance. Enough of these comments. Let's hear Blues with a Touch of Elegance. Anzi Matthews and Blues with a Touch of Elegance. Kind of nice. That soprano sax in there. Not good. So you have a family car, and you say, why should I rent a car from Avis? I got a car. And I say, your car does not work all the time. And they say, I'm putting a hex on your car. Za-za. May your carburetor fall out. May your tire go flat. May your valves need grinding. And then, when your car is up on the lift, you may find yourself up the creek. This is a good time to check on Avis to see if they really do try harder. Rent yourself a shiny new Plymouth. Try the seatbelts, the radio, the windshield wipers. They wipe, you know, which is nice. Try the engine. Check to see if the glove compartment of the ashtrays are really as clean as they say. You may even kick the tires. And you'll find out that on an Avis car, everything that is supposed to be clean is clean. And everything works the way it should. And maybe if that old family boat has finally had it, why not rent the kind of car you think you might want to buy next? It's a great way to hold a test drive, sans salesman. But you better be prepared. You'll have a hard time trying to keep your new car as good as the one Avis gave you. Call Avis in New York at MU7-1262, and you will see how Avis tries harder. That is MU7-1262. Have an ancient recording here. It was recorded in 1944, originally on the Commodore label. Billie Holiday and Teddy Wilson, and they have done something to this they call re-channeling, whatever. It's monaural without the crackle on the edges. This is called I Love My Man.
Now, if you put that all together,
Bill Doggett, and he did. And before that, Billie Holiday. The Doggett thing was called All Souls Blues. This is the Other Dan Ingram Show, not to be confused with the other Dan Ingram Show. Brought to you by the Avis people who try harder and who rent cars. And their number is MU. I believe that is Murray Hill. Good move. MU7-1262. In New York, they try very hard. And you are tuned to WABC FM, stereo, New York, the station of the performing arts, at 95, page 2.5 on your FM thing. Ben Webster is one of my favorite tenor men, and Harry Edison, who is known as Sweets, is an excellent trumpet player too. Both good musicians. They got together on an album, oddly enough, called Ben Webster and Sweets Edison. A masterpiece of creative titling. But the music is a masterpiece. It's a goodie. It's called Better Go. Swinging there. Harry Edison and Ben Webster. And I hope your thigh was sufficiently high enough to hear the bass solo. George Duvivier's great. So maybe you have a sensible car, one of those little things. Or maybe you have a sport type machine. And maybe all of a sudden you have to carry something somewhere that's a little bit too big. This is when you should call Avis. It's like having a spare car, and it's always clean and always ready. The tank is filled. Nice shiny new Plymouth. Get a big wagon. Take the whole family along. Maybe an old dresser drawer or something. Fill it up with bent iron, anything. Avis will try harder because they are still number 2 in the rent-a-car business, and they appreciate your business, which is a great attitude in these days of disposable plastic. And none of us likes to be treated like disposable plastic. And yet, somehow, that seems to be increasingly the way of things. Avis treats you like people. They appreciate you because you are giving them money for their car. So I would suggest you call Avis in New York at MU7-1262, and you will see how Avis tries harder. MU7-1262. And Josh White.
I'm laughing just to keep from crying.
Josh White swings. That's tasty. I like that. Got a lot of inherent bounce in his voice. I don't know whether bounce would be inherent. Yeah, I guess so. It's part of the whole thing. Josh White, and you don't know my mind. The Three Sounds have made many recordings, and this is one of their better ones, called the A.M. Blues. Nicely done there. The Three Sounds. Who do well at their craft. They get into the soul bag. It strikes me that a soul bag would be worn around the neck on a small chain, gold, of course. Some Middle Eastern religion of sorts. The Avis people would like me to talk to you about them. They are smart people. They have risen all the way to number 2. Yes, they are number 2 in the rent-a-car business, so they have blues. They have to try harder to get your business, and they do. You rent an Avis car, everything works. Windshield wipers wipe. Radio plays. Cigar lighter even lights cigars. Seats are clean. The car's safe, in good mechanical condition. Which is nice to have that kind of peace of mind. I would suggest if you are renting a car to go anywhere, or even if you were just like a nice shiny Plymouth sitting in your driveway for status, you know. Call Avis in New York at MU71262. And it might make some sense, if you're in the city, to put in a standing order for a car every weekend from Avis. Then you don't have garage problems. You don't have all the problems of owning a car in town. You just have your weekends away. Call Avis, MU71262, and you will see how Avis tries harder. The Dave Brubeck people are here, not in person, but recorded, with one of their time shticks. I expect him to record something in 14/22 time or something like that. This happens to be in 6/4 time. Whatever that means. This is the Maori Blues. Conflict of interest there at the end. That was Dave Brubeck Trio and Maori Blues. We would urge you to stay tuned for news, the Almanac of Folk Music, which follows, And then the best jazz disc jockey in New York, Mr. Alan Grant, with the sounds of the big bands from 10 until midnight. We thank our director, Richard Riley. Our engineer, Mr. Richard Silverberg. And we thank Avis for making it all possible. They do try harder. You call Avis in New York. You must have an Avis car. You need it. And we will see you again next Saturday evening from 8 until 9 with another Other Dan Ingram Show. Jay Oskaday. Nighty-night.